What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about a few different grayscale trusts, and we're going to be going over some OSPREY trusts as well. LTCN at the request of Starfleet Command, File G, GSOL, and G-Link for Sabir. Patrick, you also requested G-Sol. We're going to be talking about ODAT and OSOL, the OSPREY trust for Sabir as well. Without any further ado, let's get into this. So I know a few of you are wondering, and my thoughts run a little bit contrary to that of some people. I know Ethan doesn't necessarily expect that these same targets are on the table, and he might be right, man. He might be, nobody knows the future, but at the moment, I am still expecting that we see something in this area. I doubt we see this. It's possible, but I don't know about that, especially with the events taken in recently. But I do think at a minimum we would see prices above this high. Maybe they're just barely above this high. Maybe we form some kind of like lower high, and we can't, or not lower high, higher high, but we can't actually get to the 1272 area, which isn't common, but it does happen. Nonetheless, I would think that LTCN does see some decent growth. Now, as far as when is that going to happen, when are we going to get there, when are we going to top off and then start heading down, when is this cycle for LTCN over? That's a hard question to answer. With the idea that LTCN is, let's see right now, at NAV price is 605. At market price, it's already over 2x premium. And there is private investing rounds going on right now for accredited investors, private placements, whatever. It's hard to say because there is going to be selling pressure in 6 months from now. We are on February 17th as of today. It's probably going to be February 18th by the time most of you watch this, but the last day that we had was February 16th, so that would put us in August 16th, August 15th, something like that. 6 months of price action that will go by until then. So until those shares are unlocked, right? Let's do that real quick, right? August, this month. This is when they will be unlocked, okay? By the trajectory we have, right, something like this, if we were to kind of continue this parabolic trajectory, we might only be there at 113 by that time. Now, personally speaking, and that kind of wouldn't be too crazy either, because that is kind of at this previous area of support right here, we could find resistance there, right? We might sell off a little bit. I very much do expect, and I know some of you are talking, I had one person, I forget who it was, that was saying, so what, we sell the week before these shares are unlocked, right? And that might be smart, it might not be. I would, in my genuine opinion, I would not recommend, and none of this is financial advice, but I would not recommend trying to front run this event. I wouldn't try to recommend front running that event at all. You might see some initial selling off, right? But let's look at this for what it is, right? When LTCN first came out, okay, it was back here. Let's go to the daily. Go to the daily so we get it on the day. Okay, LTCN first came out, it was over here. It went through, Grayscale gave a private round of investing too, and this happened either a year or 6 months before as well, okay, right? They weren't able to trade them. They were privately sold shares 6 months to a year before they were able to be traded on the open markets. And when it happened, you opened here and you went down. You went from 32.86, you dropped all the way down to 22. Very quickly, and then you moved up, and then you moved down, you had a lull, and then you moved up again. It's very unpredictable, and what you don't want to do is you don't want to get to that point in August, like somewhere over, let's see, right around here. You don't want to get to this point and think, oh, I'm just going to sell before, the week before, and then you see the price do this, and then the shares get unlocked, and then yes, they do dump. Right? Then what you're doing is you've got one of like two possibilities that's going to happen, right? You're going to sell here, the price will move up like that, and then you're like, shoot, I should have just held. I'm going to buy back here because it's going to go up, and then it dumps, and then you're like, shoot, I should have sold. Why did I do this? I'm going to sell. I'm going to panic sell. You buy high and you sell low, and then it takes off without you. Or two, you sell. You feel those emotions, you don't buy, and then it crashes, and you're like, oh, see, it is crashing. I was right all along. I just had to be patient. And then you're expecting something like this to happen. That never happens, and then it does take off. I do very much believe that regardless of how many shares are being pumped into this thing, new shares are being pumped into this thing, I do believe that we're going to see LTCN recover after the 6-month period of lockup is over. I think we're going to see an initial sell-off, sure, maybe the day of, maybe a week later. It doesn't have to be the day of, but we're going to see an initial sell-off, and then we'll recover just like we did last time, right? Literally just like we did last time. Initial sell-off, recovered, continue to sell off, whatever, but then major recovery right there, right? And you had plenty of time to sell at these levels, at these highs, which the lowest point, by the way, was literally at the high of this initial selling off point, okay? Go to BCHG, if I can. And it's the same thing. Initial sell-off, a bit more dramatic. Initial sell-off, you pump back up, but initial sell-off, and then you recovered, and you went from the highest point, actually, which was at $33.41, all the way up to $60, right? If you're just patient, you don't try to time it, you can definitely catch prices that are higher. I say definitely, but likely you'll be able to catch prices that are higher. And I would imagine, too, that the initial round of private investors back there was probably larger than it's going to be now. But I don't know. I can be wrong. I can definitely be wrong on that. But I don't have all the information. But reason being, again, is that right now LTC looks like it wants to go down. LTCN looks like it wants to go down. It is still at a 2x premium, but over the next 2 to 3 weeks while this private sale is open, if we continue to move down, maybe attention will be drawn away from LTCN private sales and get more into the open market where they don't have to have their shares locked up for 6 months. I don't know, man. Like, really, truthfully, even until we're like at $9, there's probably going to be interest in the private sales. But once we start getting a little bit lower, if we take out that low especially, I would think interest would go away from the private sales, and the accredited investors might, and I'm assuming, I'm doing a lot of assuming here, okay? I don't know what their minds are. They might still want to buy down here. But I would think they might try to be patient and try to catch it at NAV prices on the open market. That's just my opinion, though. Nonetheless, yes, all that to say, man, I do think that LTCN wants to still see new all-time highs. I do think it's possible for LTCN to break through $1,000. I can be wrong. There's other people that disagree with that statement, and we can agree to disagree. It's okay. People have different targets all the time. But I very much do think that $2,300 for LTCN is still on the table, in case I haven't made that clear, which from the current price would be a 182x in growth. Now, that might not happen. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this private sale does screw up a lot of things. Maybe it does add a lot of selling pressure, and it impedes the ability for this thing to grow. Maybe all of that's true. Nonetheless, I do expect you'll see a new all-time high. Which still, even from here at the current levels to an all-time high, that's still a 40x. So nothing to be too sad about, let alone if you buy at lower prices. I do think it's going lower. I think we'll see prices below $8, potentially all the way down at, what was it, $6.80? Is that what it was? $6.15? Something like that, yeah. What is this? This real quick. 672 to 522, around there is kind of what I'm thinking, with the lowest prediction being at like 472, but I'm not expecting that. I'm more expecting between that $5 to $7 range, likely right in the middle there, if not closer to $7. But that's my assumptions for LTCN. I know there was somebody, I forget who it was, but they were asking me to prove, because they looked it up, and let's see here. Go to private placement products, confirm. And they said they could only find it saying that they have to hold it for a year. There's nothing saying that it has to hold it for a full year. Right here, right? Shares purchased in the private placements are initially restricted for 1 year. They don't want me spreading FUD. Some of you got aggro on him, and I appreciate it. You're defending me. I get it, and you're defending yourselves, right? But or you're defending your assets, or maybe your opinion on the knowledge of this asset. Man, I'm just getting off topic here. What I'm trying to say is, I appreciate the people coming to my defense, but at the same time, this guy, he just had genuine questions. He's just trying to figure it out. He sees this, and he's like, well, hold on. And when I saw this, I thought the same exact thing. Well, hold on. It says a year. Where's this 6 months coming from? If you click over here, right, at public quotation, SEC reporting, right here, right, in the same thing, you can see This also reduces the initial 1-year holding period of private placements to 6 months. Products at this stage, right? The SEC reporting. This is what these private sales are in compliance with. It's like SEC. What's the law? It's something that got passed in 1933. That's all that I remember. But they do not have to hold it for a year. In fact, they're only locked for 6 months. So here's that proof. I hope it helps. I hope that's you see what you need to see. You can look it up yourself. A lot of you just said it's on the website, and that's true. That's all true. You're providing facts, but I wanted to just provide a how-to, because maybe this person, whoever they were, they didn't think to like click over here, right? They just see private placement. That makes sense to them. That's what you're looking for. You're talking about the private placement. They're not going to look at SEC reporting, even though that has to do with the private placement as well. But anyways, that's where you find it. That's where you find it. Let's move on to File G. File G. I hope I'm not ranting too much. I know a lot of you say that you like it whenever I rant, so I'm just ranting a little bit. Or not ranting, but blabbering maybe is a better word. File G looks good. It looks good. It looks like a chart that I would not want to trade. Very low liquidity. You only get charts like this when there's low liquidity. So what does that mean? If you want to sell up here, you have like $1,000, $10,000 you want to sell, you're probably only selling $100 to $500 worth. You want to buy down here $1,000 to $10,000, you're probably only buying $100 worth, $500 worth, right? You're not getting your full amount. I hate low liquidity things, man. But for what it's worth, looks like it wants to go up. Can't really do too much TA on this. I don't want to do too much TA on this. Daily RSI looks somewhat bullish. It could go a little bit lower, but nonetheless, it does look bullish. Not gonna lie. File G, that's what you get. G-Sol, talking about Grayscale. See, low volume before, much more volume now. I actually don't know what this trust was before, because Solana did not exist all the way back then, so it's got price history whenever it shouldn't, which I thought was weird since I first noticed that, but whatever. Top to bottom here, relative high to low. Hit the 1618, you tipped it, probably going to pull back at least to your 1272 at about 220. You're at 232 now, but I think pulling back all the way down to your 886 at about 177 is normal. You could pull back even lower than that. It is possible, kind of conform with these lower or higher lows here, right? Something like that could happen. You don't have to. You could find a low up here. That's totally fine. But lower nonetheless is where I think you're going. Hit the overbought zone. You're probably going to get out, cool off a little bit. That's okay. Looking at the weekly. Weekly looks good, but yeah, you could pull back a little bit. Wouldn't be crazy if you did that at all. That's G-Sol. G-Link. Oh, and by the way, somebody clarified. It's not, before I said it was BCH, LTCN, G-Link, ETH-E, and GBTC that were on the private placements. I was wrong. I read it wrong. I remembered it wrong. The email that Ethan posted, I'm sure it was clear for him, like physically on a pixelated view, clear. But when you post on Discord for some reason, it's not as clear. It like blurs it. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like it blurs it. I thought I saw ETH-E and I was guessing GBTC, but from what I remember, it's G-Sol and XLM. It's whatever Stellar Lumen's Grayscale is. Is it GXLM and G-Sol? It's G-Link, BCHG, LTCN, XLM on the Grayscale Trust, and Solana Grayscale Trust as well. Those are the 5 private placement offerings through the Grayscale Trust right now. So I wanted to make that clear in case anybody thought I was silly. I was being silly apparently, but anyways. High, lower high, higher high. Double bearish divergence. Looks like it wants to come down a little bit, probably. Makes sense. You're at $82. Your NAV price is way below that. You're at like an 8x on your NAV price, aren't you? Let's see. NAV 18, you're at 82. So yeah, you are. You're at like a 4 to 5x, something like that. Insane. I would bet with this private placement going on, you probably do see a decrease. Absolutely you do. You probably very well do. Relative low down here that I can see is discernible. 382 is all the way down at 31. Your NAV price is at $18. I mean, you could, 618's all the way down there at 1550. You could pull all the way back down to 1550, man. From this low to this high, 1272 at 25, 1618 at $18. I do believe you will at least go to $26, if not potentially below $20. We could talk about $18 coming into play or not, but you know, I guess that we actually just did. Sorry. Yeah, 26 to 18. That's where I think you're going. Potentially all the way down to 15 is what I meant to say. Yeah. Yep. But I do think you're going to see a lower low. I think you're going to break out of this bearishly. Moving up higher, lower volume, bearish divergence. None of that is a good combo. No. Overbought, now you're not. Bearish engulfing candle looking like you want to go down. You broke the structure. It's all over but the crying. G-Link is going down. Good opportunity to buy probably. This might be one that, because it is so high compared to the NAV price, might be a good one to sell around the unlock dates. Probably, because I bet if there are private investors out there, they're probably interested in the one that's got the best premium. Liquidity be damned. Because if this thing by August, right? This is like when the first round of PPs are supposed to be given back. Let's say it moves all the way back down here, something like that. Let's say by August you continue to move up. You're at, like, I don't know, maybe not that high. I mean, that'd be crazy. But let's say you're all the way at 256. Okay, 256. I feel like that's kind of conservative actually, but 256 by August. Again, I feel like that's conservative. I think you will be higher than that, but 256 by August. Your NAV price is 1813. They're buying it for 1813. It's going to be available. They're going to be able to sell it at 256. They're not going to care about the liquidity. There might not be liquidity until $109. They bought it at $18. They don't care. They will dump that thing. So, yes, this one might be something to watch out for. In the meantime, while it goes down, probably a good opportunity to buy, and then it'll probably go up. But again, with those unlock dates, be cautious, be wary. Don't assume them to be as bearish as they might seem. Maybe there is an initial sell-off, but they probably likely will grow afterwards, right? Initial sell-off, growth afterwards, okay? The height was at $15. It doesn't seem that far away from this, but $15 to $24, that's enough. If you play this wrong, if you don't sell it at the absolute top, even if you sold it at the absolute top and it goes up to $24, you're going to kind of feel like, ooh, am I missing out? Am I wrong? It could set you up for failure. So if you're looking to hold this for the long term, don't let the unlock dates shake you out of that. Get your long-term capital gains. I very much do believe that these things will continue to run after their unlock dates. They might see a temporary sell-off, but then toward 2025, the beginning, the middle, that's when they'll probably taper off for the cycle. Hope that makes sense. We're talking about the OSPREY. Sabir, come on now. You said ODAT. ODAT. ODAT ain't nothing, bro. ODAT what? ODAT ain't nothing. We're going to talk about OSOL, though. Unless ODAT is on here. Let's see. Is it not an Osprey Trust? Oh, my goodness. I doubt this is what you wanted me to look at, because it's got $101 of volume after being around for a year and 3 months. If this is the one you wanted me to look at, Sabir, stay away from it. That's, I don't even have to look at it. I don't think anybody has to look at that. But this one, I can't pull up ODAT on here. Whatever that is. Is it ODA? I don't see anything. No Osprey. ODAT ain't nothing. I'm going to stick with that. OSOL is what we're talking about on the Osprey Trust. Also looks like it wants to come down. Yes, bearish divergence here. High here, higher high here, lower highs, significantly lower highs. Overbought, now you're not. Probably going to get to the downside here. From this low to this high, I would expect that you see prices probably all the way down at $56, and here you are at $120. Previous highs here. Yeah, makes sense, man. $56. That's where you're going. If you don't go there, these are just lines. They're not necessities. You could go somewhere in between this range. Maybe you stop at 70. Maybe you stop at 80. But for now, based off of TA, 56, based off the fibs, I should say, 56 is where I think you're going. Let's see what you did here, top to bottom. Get rid of this bad boy. 1272 hit, 1886 hit. Yeah, dude. $42 to $70, somewhere in that range. 51, right in the midst there. Makes sense to me. That's what I think you're doing. Daily looks bearish. Weekly looks bearish. 3 hour looks sad. Yeah, all of it going down. So that's it. It makes sense. G-Sol looks like it wants to go down too. So, and so does Solana. But without any further ado, that's all I got, ladies and gentlemen. If you like the video, if you like the madness, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you all for coming. My mouth hurts, man. I've been talking too much. Oh man, it actually genuinely hurts. I got something wrong with my mouth, man. It actually hurts. It's not a joke. I'm not gonna go into it, but it hurts to talk. It doesn't hurt to drink though. But it doesn't make it feel better. Anyways, take care. Bye-bye.